The housing market is not going to crash. However, there is a group of individuals who bought a home recently that I want to keep a close eye on, so I want to discuss that in this video. But I want to go through the 5 reasons why I don't think the housing market's going to crash. Number 1, this is not 2008. Because remember, in 2008, there were so many unqualified buyers who were getting loans that had no business of getting these loans, and they were getting adjustable rate mortgages. So they locked in originally at a very low interest rate that they were able to afford this house. Wow, what an amazing payment. When that ballooned up, so many Americans could no longer afford the monthly payment, and they were forced into foreclosure. When the market was flooded with all these foreclosures, the supply went up and it crashed the market. So I don't see that happening in 2024. A lot of people have 30-year fixed rates, 15-year fixed rates, and they are qualified buyers. So I don't think that's going to be a problem. So I don't think we're going to have a repeat of 2008. Now, number 2, this one's fascinating. 42% of all homeowners do not have a mortgage. Do you know how big that is in 2024? If you don't have a mortgage on a $400,000 or $500,000 home, all you have are your property taxes, homeowner insurance, maybe an HOA. So that's about $700-800. People in America whose home is paid off today that lives in a $400,000 or $500,000 home, their monthly housing burden is cheaper than the average one bedroom in the entire country. They are in a really great position. So God forbid they lose their job, or groceries go up a little bit more, or insurance goes up a little bit more. They're not in any danger of losing their house. It is so small. $800? My God. Number 3, of the people who have a mortgage, 62% of them have an interest rate under 4%. So again, these individuals most likely bought their house in 2012, 2010, 2015, 2018, 2020, refinanced, have a 2.5% to 4% interest rate on a very small loan. That's the other thing too. People who bought their home in 2017 probably bought a $200,000, $250,000, $300,000 home. So their loan amount is under $200,000. So even at a 4% interest rate, you're looking at $1,200 a month. So these individuals have a $1,200, $1,500, maybe $1,800 a month housing burden. Again, that is cheaper than most one bedrooms around the country. So again, God forbid these individuals lose their job, insurance goes up, electric goes up, groceries go up, gas goes up, they're still in a better position than everybody renting. So that group is solid. They're also not selling their house because they don't want to exchange their 3% for a 7.5%. It would increase their payment over $1,000, and their interest over 30 years would be just astronomical. So they're kind of staying put. Now, group 4, we're aware of the institutional investors. They started buying up properties, I want to say in 2010 or 12. I'll have to look back into that to be exact, but they really have ramped it up in the past 5 years because they smell a renter's nation, a renter's economy. They want to buy up every single house. I'm sure if you live next to a big city, you've driven around brand new allotments, 150 homes with a big sign that says homes for rent. They are buying up tens of thousands of homes, keeping inventory low and keeping prices where they are. That's why we're kind of at a stalemate right now. So institutional investors are a problem because they're buying the first-time home buyer homes. They're buying the homes that the millennials and Gen Zers would get, and they're buying the homes that boomers would be downgrading into. So that $300,000 to $500,000 range where basically most of America wants to buy, they are eating away at that. So that's a problem, but it's keeping prices where they are. Now, the last one, number 5, is qualified buyers. I have worked with many of them in my professional career of qualified buyers. These are couples or individuals that make $150,000 to $300,000. They can easily go get a $350,000, $400,000, $500,000 home, and it's cake for them. Yeah, the interest rate's a little high, but they're comfortable with the payment and they're fine. Or it's a Gen Xer or a boomer who bought their house 8 years ago, 15 years ago, 25 years ago, have $300,000 worth of equity. They're putting $300,000 down on a $500,000 home. They're getting a loan out on $200,000. So even at 7%, $200,000, again, it's so small because the loan is so small. So their payment is good. So of these 5 categories, this is what I believe is keeping the housing market and the prices strong. However, I am seeing a lot of reports lately and testimonials, if you will, from millennials who bought a house in 2022, 2023, and 2024 at 7 to 8% interest rates. And because of all this hype around the housing, they jumped into it even though they weren't comfortable with the payment. And now gas is up, groceries is up, insurance is up, their property taxes, electricity, and their backs against the wall. I don't know how many, but I really hope it's not a large group of millennials that overextended themselves. Because God forbid if they lose their job and their back's against the wall and they go, how do I maintain this $4,000 mortgage when I could move my family into an apartment for $2,000 and get our life back together? Now, foreclosure is the worst case scenario. People are going to fight tooth and nail to never lose their house. But if you could go from $4,000 to $2,000, that's going to look appetizing when you're searching for jobs and not getting callbacks. So we have to pay really close attention. I'm also seeing that some mortgages are underwater, meaning that they went and got a house in 2022, 2023, and in that particular market, the housing prices have come down about 5%. So they actually owe more than what the house is worth. Not by much, but that creates a problem with refinancing, and it also just doesn't feel good. But if you don't sell, then who cares? As long as you're comfortable with the monthly payment. So here's what I want to share for everybody who wants to buy a house right now. I am a firm believer in home ownership for the future. Historically, you're going to have appreciation. You're going to be able to build your net worth. You're going to be able to have your roots down. And most importantly, when you only have property taxes and homeowner insurance for retirement, it will be significantly cheaper than renting. So it's important to want to buy a house for the future. But for a lot of you, the short term, right now, short term, rent is significantly cheaper. Still record high, but significantly cheaper than buying. So maybe short-term renting is a good idea for you, but put that house on the dream board so you can think about a plan to buy one in the future, but please do not overextend yourself. Here's my 2 rules that I like to give as advice. If you're going to buy a house today, these things must be true. This is my advice here. Are you comfortable with the monthly payment? Can you comfortably afford that $3,000 payment at a 7% interest rate for the next 30 years? Do not bet that the rates will come down. If the answer is yes, then that's one checked box, and you should potentially move forward. Number 2, will you stay in this house for 10 to 15 years? Please do not buy today if you're like, I think I like Tennessee, I just moved here. If you're sure you're going to keep the house for 10 to 15 years, it's a better move. Do not buy today and sell 18 months from now or 24 months from now, because you'll most likely lose money. And what a big waste of time and a big waste of money. But if you're going to keep it for 10 to 15 years, that's another box to check that you're in a good position. Now, you don't have to live in it for 15 years, but if you have like a path in your career that you're going to make more money, and then you could actually go buy your dream home in 8 years and rent that one out, then that's cool. Just don't buy today and sell 2 years from now. Keep it for 10 to 15 years, because we believe, no one knows, but we believe historically, if anything happens, in 15 years, your house is going to be worth way more and you're going to be in good shape. So are you comfortable with the payment, and are you going to keep it for 10 to 15 years? If those 2 things aren't true, then you're getting yourself into a disaster. And you don't want to have that, because you don't want your house to be a prison. You want it to be a pleasure to have. But yeah, that's my 2 cents on that. If you are looking to buy a home, or you do want to talk with a lender, you can go to your local bank, or you can go to the description of this video or in my profile and chat with my preferred lender. They work in 49 states. They're very thorough. They'll walk you through the whole process, and you can actually get more of a ballpark figure for you and your finances and a plan. So you have a target to hit. You're like, I need to save this much. I need to pay off this. And this way it's real. But just continue to educate yourself so that you can make an educated decision about your future and buying a home. But yeah, like I said, that's my 2 cents on this. I'll keep you updated, but I appreciate your time. Have a great week, and I'll see you on the next video.